Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Gaming Pubcast. I am Martin. I'm back. If you can't remember me, I used to be on the.
Who are you?
Yeah, it's been such a long time. But I used to do some hosting on this show, and then
Nice. It's good to have you back.
I'm happy to be back. How are you, Duncan?
I'm fine. It's episode 30, by the way.
Episode 30. Yeah, it's been so long. I think last time I was in, it was episode 7 or 8 or something like that.
30 episodes. Who would have thunk it?
No, well done.
So we haven't got Tom this week. Instead, we just swapped you for Tom.
We swap in and out, me and Tom. So never seen us in the same room. People say we might be the same person.
Oh, that's a bit freaky. So anyway, you're back, but we've lost Tom to illness, I think, and general family illness. So hopefully 3 of us next week.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
But anyway, so gaming. I suppose you've obviously been very busy over the last few weeks, but does that mean you have been playing lots?
I've been busy, but I have found time to play games. Off the top of my head, I can't really think of all the games. There's certain games that I've already mentioned. The new game that I played this week that I hadn't played before was the Tomb Raider on Game Pass. The Rise of Tomb Raider. Is it the Rise of Tomb Raider? It's like
Rise of Tomb Raider. Yeah. Fantastic. Have you not played any of the reboots?
No, I've never played the newer ones. So obviously I've played the original PlayStation ones, and where she had like the cuboid sort of graphics and
the cuboid graphics, yes.
Yeah. But never played the newer ones, and I was like, I'll give it a go. And the first level where you're sort of climbing up a mountain, and then did the next bit where you're going through that temple in Syria, and it explodes, and then you end up in London, and you get so far it reminds me a little bit of Uncharted with the
it has elements of Uncharted there. It's definitely the reboots, fantastic. I think the first one, people were disappointed with the third one, which was Shadow of the Tomb Raider. But it wasn't. I think people were just disappointed that compared to the first two, the Tomb Raider and then Rise of the Tomb Raider that you're playing. But no, they're great games. They play really well. They look good. The tombs, I think, were my favourite bit. The actual individual like caves that had puzzles.
They
were fantastic. I don't know how many of those you've tried.
I've only really just started. I mean, I did I don't know if it would be classed as a tomb, but the first one where you're in Syria and you're there to get something basically, and you open up the thing and they're not there, and you get shot by Trinity.
Well, they have separate tombs because obviously it's Tomb Raider, so you've got to have tombs, but they're like separate puzzles. So you might find like a door, and and it'll take you into a cave, and you might have to pull a block and then jump on that block while swinging to get to another area, then push something and that kind of thing. So it's a puzzle section of each game. They were fantastic. I remember the first one. The only complaint that most people had was there wasn't enough, because they're open world-ish sort of thing, aren't they?
Yeah. So the bit, because it starts off quite linear in terms of there's a clear path, but now I'm onto the bit where I've just set up a camp, and then you can like get materials and stuff to create new outfits. So I don't know sort of where it'll go from there, because I haven't really done much since it's become more open world. I've gone off and killed a deer because I thought, well, I guess I need like hide and stuff. Oh dear, it had no idea, that deer. But so far it's been good. I've enjoyed it. I do quite, because it's quite got it's action, but then there's some sort of platform elements what I quite like, because I do like platform games. They like jumping around and
they're fantastic. The first two, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, I can't really say whether it's actually not as good as the rest because I don't think I've ever actually completed it. But the first two were the remakes, the reboots were fantastic because they're not remakes at all. They're nothing to do with the first.
No, nothing
at
like,
all, are they?
Yeah,
but no, fantastic. They'll keep you occupied for a good long time, especially if you're going to go for some of the more obscure achievements. I don't know. I never know. You were an achievement hunter?
Not really. No, I'm more just playing the game and then
wham bam, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, exactly. But I know there's some people who are like trophy hunters or achievement hunters, aren't they, in terms of wanting to 100% it. But yeah, I've never really been someone who will look and try and work out. And I guess it does add more to a game, doesn't it? Because it means that you can.
Yeah, I mean, I personally don't 100% many games, but I try and have some of the achievements in mind when I'm playing the game. The most annoying thing is when you especially with open world ones where you're just going round and looking everywhere, and then you find out in the end that there was nothing to do with sort of searching every last little place. But yeah, I like getting a good score. That's just, I'm not a platinum hunter.
I was going to say, what is it with? Because with PlayStation, it's platinum, gold.
The platinum normally is if you've got all the other achievements.
You get everything, yeah. So is it platinum with Xbox? I don't
know. No, it's just 1,000 points for base game, and then some games have more than that if they have DLC. It can be free DLC sometimes. I think like things like Minecraft has about 2,500 points you can get. I think I recently passed my 250,000 score. So, seeing as if you 100% a game, it's 1,000 points minimum. That's the equivalent of 100%ing 250 games.
So, if there's any listeners who can better that, then
nowadays there's lots. I mean, think about it. So I've had Xbox since 2007, so that's now 17 years of Xbox with achievements. Were achievements since 2007? Possibly, yeah. And what is that? Oh, God, blimey, that's 10,000. That's about 15,000 per year. So, in the grand scheme of somebody who plays a lot of games, that's not that much, actually.
Shame on you.
I suppose. No, he's quite a lot. I used to rent a lot of games. I used to have one of those unlimited rentals for a certain amount per month. And so I used to have 2 games at home at all times, and I used to race through them so I could get them back and get another game. And so
not like Blockbusters and Duncan.
It was Boomerang. No, I had Love Film, and then I had Boomerang, which I think Boomerang is still going. How they're still going, I don't know, because a lot of games are digital only now.
You do think, but yeah, Blockbusters bring back. I used to do that back in the 90s. Going
when I'm PS1 and PS2.
But I guess back then you could, because the games were a bit shorter, so you could rent it and actually probably.
Yeah, they used to do. It was like a weekly rental, wasn't it? Or they used to be about 3 days automatically. It wasn't an overnight thing like a movie.
Yeah, you had longer, didn't you? But I remember, not me, I should say, but people used to just rent out the PlayStation games, copy them, and then return them back, wouldn't they? So
yeah, and that was the downfall of Dreamcast as well, I think, because it was so easy to copy them once they found out how to do it. People just copied and could use copied games.
And unrelated to video games, but related to Blockbuster. I remember I would have been quite young because it was back when it was VHS. And we can't remember what film it was. It might have been like Titanic, and we put it in, and it was something different. Someone would just record like about 5 EastEnders episodes.
I may have had recorded once, but yeah, all you had to do was put sellotape over. There was like a little hole on the edge, and all you have to do is put sellotape over that, and you can record on whatever.
I'm sure Grant Mitchell is not in Titanic. No, he is.
Barbara Windsor. Get him on pub! No, but the pub's sinking. No, she is. They were definitely not in EastEnders, and EastEnders was not in Titanic. No,
maybe they could do a crossover one day.
God, that would have been on VX coming out. I think the film Titanic was 97, I think.
Yeah.
So it would have been out on video 99, 2000. Oh God, so I would have been 22, 20, 23 kind of thing. Oof, scary. God, was it still VHS? Yes, I suppose it was, because DVDs only came big with the PS2, really, and the PS2 was 2001, I think. So
I think it came out probably video like 98, wasn't it? Probably around
it would have been VHS. Oh, how quickly Blockbusters died.
I used to love Blockbusters.
I lived very close to one when I first lived alone, and I was in there a lot. Wasted all my money, but that was PlayStation 1 era. Oh, memories, good memories.
What have you been playing, Duncan? Anyway,
well, I did say last week I gave in and I bought Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth.
I did see your post,
and I've got a bit further in that. It's such a good game. I mean, I do like it, and I've still barely touched it. I've probably played, I think, for about 18 hours of it. And it's just one of these games where every time you start, there is a new part of the game that you can play. I mean, the other day I did a mission where I was a waiter and I had to take people's orders. I was a lifeguard and had to save somebody from the water. Blimey, what else have I done? Danny Trejo was a boss in it, so that was quite interesting. This guy starts shouting at you, and you think, "Hang on, I know that voice." And I checked out. Yes, it is Danny Trejo of Machete fame.
He's in like the most deaths ever. He's even had more deaths than Sean Bean, isn't he, Danny?
I mean, he's from Dust Till Dawn.
He's the one I think. Yeah, he is in Dust Till Dawn. If he's the one I'm thinking of, I think it is.
He's the guy with the sort of the handlebar moustache and Latinos sounding.
Yeah, he's in a lot of like gangster.
Oh yes, very much. Oh, he's generally a bad guy. I think he was in the first Expendables as well, that kind of thing. So he's an action. I think he might be in his 70s now, but yeah, I mean, he's somebody. I think he was in gangs and he spent time in prison for murder or assault or something like that. So, he's turned his life around. Let's say that. But no, he's a fantastic character now, and his character is he's a boss. It's weird as well. I mean, there's so many surprises. Anyway, going back to the game, there is so many surprises in it, and I don't know if you've seen any reviews. There's a whole version, like a Dragon version, the Yakuza version of Animal Crossing style thing in it, and I haven't even reached that. I haven't even been shown that yet, and I'm nearly 20 hours in. And yeah, there's half of the characters that you can have you join in your team I haven't even met yet. I've only just managed to get from 3 people in my team to 4, which for anybody else that's played it will tell you how far I've got into it. But yeah, and when I first started it literally had the map of the original game, the original Yakuza Like a Dragon game in it. And that was just literally an intro section. It's a huge game, and although that I said last week, there is that sort of uncanny valley kind of, you have a real emotional or mega violent bit, and then you have a really funny, silly bit within seconds. And it does sort of throw you out of the story sometimes a little bit. But the funny bits are really funny. The violent bits are really violent. And the emotional bits are quite emotional. And it all sort of works together really well in a really weird way. But I love it. I absolutely love it. And I'd highly recommend anybody to play it.
Worth
and
the
even
money.
people who don't like turn-based combat, as I said, that they've sort of turned it around into a more sort of situational, so you can move your character live and the opponents move live. So when you attack, if you've got one of your team behind the person, you will hit them and hit the the enemy, and your teammate will hit them when they fall back into them. Or if there's two enemies in a row, you will hit them and hit both of them, kind of thing. So it's turned it more into a sort of situational turn-based, but still turn-based. You can sit there and do nothing if you want, and nothing happens. But the quicker you do something, quite often you can catch enemies, like 4 enemies in a row, kind of thing, and then all you have to do is hit the front one, and that's it. But like dominoes, you hit all of them.
Worth the money?
Pardon?
Worth the money?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, as I said, there's a whole Animal Crossing mini game in there, and I haven't even got to that yet. And so, if that's any good, there's also a dating sim in there. There's lots of puzzles and mini games and missions and all sorts that, it's just definitely worth the money. And it is a very full price game. It was 60 quid. Even on and that's on PC, because I bought it on Steam Deck because I thought this is gonna. I think this is gonna come to Game Pass. That's just my guess, because they brought all the other Yakuzas to Game Pass. So I think they might wait longer for this one, because I think they've invested a lot more into this, Sega have. But yeah, I think eventually it will come to Game Pass. So
potentially an early contender for Game of the Year.
Yes, something will have to be very good. I mean, there's all sorts coming out this year. There's a South Park game coming out, although that's a 3D one. I don't know actually what kind of game that is at the moment, but I will have to have a look.
Good stuff from Game Pass, and this Hellblade 2.
Yes. So many to look forward to.
Is Stalker coming out this year? I don't know.
I think they've had to delay it again, but I think it's still meant to be this year, because obviously they're a Ukrainian developer, I want to say, so they had to. I think they basically redeployed all around Europe, and maybe I think there might even still be some in Ukraine, which obviously have got some difficulties at the moment, to just put it mildly. So that's sort of an open world shooter, isn't it? I remember the first one, it being a really tough sort of accurate kind of shooter, but it was a long time ago, the original Stalker. I've got a couple of friends who are really looking forward to that, though. As soon as it was announced, they're like, "Oh my god, I've got to play that!" But it's not one that's probably. It's probably one that I will try, but I can't say I'm eager for it. But it's been in development a long time, so we'll see. It's I think the fact that they've advertised it and Microsoft have bigged it up a lot, I think means they got a good. They think it's going to be really good. That's what I think. Also, I have finished the story. I finished today, actually. This is Thursday. I finished the Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty DLC, which is very much the base game has. It does have some epic, showpiece sections, but the opening of Phantom Liberty and then the ending of Phantom Liberty, there are different routes you can take, but very much have showpiece things, which big explosions, stealthy bits, and it's very impressive. And also because it's only on current gen and PC. It's very they've pushed the graphics a bit more, so it's good looking game now. It's a very good looking game, and that's just on a Series X. I can imagine on a high end PC with all your ray tracing or whatever they've got in it, path tracing or whatever it is. I can imagine it's a good looking game. But yeah, Idris Elba's good in it. The other characters are good in it. It's well worth the sort of £25, I think it is. But I can imagine, especially now it's a few months old, I can imagine it's, you'll be able to get it at a decent discount.
I guess if people haven't got Cyberpunk, you probably could get the game with the DLC.
Yes, there is an ultimate version now, and it's, I think it's just the same price as a full price game now, sort of thing. I think on PC you can get it for about £50, like full price kind of thing. But yeah, I'd give it a thumbs up. Phantom Liberty. Okay. If only just for the showpiece moments. It makes you go, wow, that was great fun. But yeah, so those are just what I've been playing this week. I played a couple of the new Game Pass games, but I tried Persona 3, and I'm sure it's great for 25-year-old me probably would have eaten it up and loved it. But 45-year-old me just hasn't got the time for it and just, can't be bothered. It says more about me than the game, I think. Because
there are a lot of people who do love the Persona game.
Yeah, the Persona is very, and I could see it's as that style of game, the JRPG kind of, and all, despite the cartoony graphics, it's quite an adult one. I think Persona. It's got quite a sort of violent horror aspect to it. It's good. It's a turn-based RPG, Japanese RPG. So if you like that kind of thing, which again, go back 20 years, I would have loved it. That's I played. Do you know what, the Game Pass games, to be honest, they, other than the big AAA things, I don't think there was that what was it, the roguelike one that was about the robots. I can't remember. But other than that, I haven't actually stuck with many recently.
No, and I know because the other list of a few weeks ago, they Resident Evil 2, wasn't it? And then now they announced Resident Evil 3.
Indeed. So yeah, other than even Resident Evil 2, I think I played that for about 4 hours, and I just haven't got back to it because Cyberpunk and Like a Dragon. So I'm sure I will get to them. Have you played any of the Resident Evil remakes?
3, yeah. I played it for the demo. I had my new gaming laptop at the time, and I wanted just to see how it would perform. So I got like a demo and had a go, and it was You
have the nemesis chasing you, don't you?
I did, yeah, and I was like, I don't really know what to do with you. Like
nothing. I think you just have to run.
Yeah,
that is all it is.
On and kept dying. So
because there's I think in the first one you I'll say the first, in the original Resident Evil 3, you couldn't kill him until the very end, where you get tossed a bazooka, like a rocket launcher. And I think that's the same in Resident Evil 3 Remake. You can't kill him, and then at the end you get tossed a rocket launcher. Spoilers.
Thanks for that.
But I was enjoying Resident Evil 2, but I always get worried with these things about whether they're just positively reviewed because of the nostalgia. Because it does what it does well, but is it getting like 9 out of 10s because people are like, wow, this is Resident Evil 2, but pretty and whatnot? Or is it getting 9 out of 10s because it's a really good game?
Depends how old the critics are.
Indeed. And how nostalgic they are for...
They were playing it back in the 90s when they were children, and everything looked better when you're a child, or even when you're a young adult, I suppose, for you. But yeah, I guess if they're young, then that nostalgia wouldn't be an issue, would it? So I don't know. But I imagine most critics are probably, I would say, gamers who have been going on for a while. But
I don't know.
Do critics game in real life? Do they? Or was it because of their
job? That's the thing. If your job is to go through a game and you've got especially if it's a story one, something like a Dragon, where just to race through the main story, you're talking 50 hours kind of thing. How do you review that? But then if you take 100 hours, that's a
how many games
long time, and how early you get it.
It must have been a lot easier back then. I used to get the Game Master magazine. I used to buy that quite regularly, and they would review games. And obviously, this was back when it was PlayStation games, so they could probably review them complete them pretty easily, or not easily, but quickly, and do a review. Whereas nowadays, imagine trying to review 100 hours games.
And also, especially things like a Dragon, Dave the Diver was another one where you might play for 30 hours, and then another mechanic comes out, another part of the game that actually adds another 10 hours on. And he's really good. Kind of like Dave the Diver, I was playing for ages, and then suddenly there was this little mini farming sim bit of it. I'm like, oh blimey! So I've got to grow rice as well, have I? Oh, okay. But in that game, a lot of the things are optional, or they don't take as long as Like a Dragon. So, but it is those kind of games where there's lots of different genres. There's a main game, and then there's lots of different things. There might be a puzzle section, there might be a farming section, there might be a racing mini game, or whatever. It's so hard to review them.
I guess they would just stick to the story, wouldn't they? Which sometimes games have bigger.
And as dads as well, we don't have the time. I mean, could you imagine if I was reviewing Like a Dragon now? Yeah, trying to find like 40 hours, 50 hours to finish a game. Not a chance. My 5-year-old, 6-year-old now would let me have 50 hours to play a game. Yeah, I mean, I do night shifts, and that's pretty much one of the only times I get to do gaming. But thankfully, I get good chunks with that. But anyway, so I think that's what we've been playing. I think we've covered half an hour with that.
Yeah. maybe we should go on to news, because there has been quite a lot of stuff in the news.
Yes, a lot of Microsoft news, isn't there?
So we'll try and cover most of it, but we'll start with the rumors. They're not confirmed, but the rumors that it would seem that every single Xbox exclusive is going to make its way over to PlayStation. So Gears of War, Starfield, the new Indiana Jones.
Yeah, well, it started with Hi-Fi Rush, I think, wasn't it? There was a little whisper that it was going to come to the Nintendo Switch, which, to be honest, I I think it's a Gearbox game. I think it's Tango Softworks or something like that, or software, and that's to do with Gearbox. Anyway, but it was a MS Studio first party game, and that going to Switch. I think people were a bit sort of like, oh, okay, whatever. But then, yeah, over the last few days, it's just exploded into quite strong rumours. It's not just, some random person on Reddit has said, oh, my dad's gardener is Phil Spencer's uncle's cousin. It's quite a few leaks have said, yeah, Starfield, Sea of Thieves, the Indiana Jones game. I think one of the strangest rumours that I've heard is that Gears of War is going to be coming to PlayStation, which
game PlayStation users, isn't it? But
yeah, now obviously, I really don't get it. I'm an Xbox user. I have no problem with Xbox games being on PlayStation. I don't get it. I don't get why. I mean, obviously, the one thing that people are probably saying is, oh, well, PlayStation don't put games on Xbox. No, they don't. Okay. That's their choice. Xbox possibly are.
But it begs the question, if they do, what would be...
I guess the point in getting an Xbox?
What's the point of getting... I guess people would say, well, what's the point now when you can get it all on PC anyway? But consoles on the whole, I know you can get cheaper PCs, but on the whole, consoles are cheaper and probably easier for new gamers to... So if you had the choice out of a PC or an Xbox, you might think, oh, I'll just get an Xbox because I don't have to worry about specs and setting it up or whatever. I know games will run on it, whereas PC, sometimes you don't have a high enough spec PC, you can't run certain games or whatever. So
yeah, I mean, PC gaming looking like, at 60 frames 4K kind of, that a lot of games are, is it's not going to be cheaper than an Xbox Series X.
Everything on PlayStation, and you got the choice out of PlayStation and Xbox. You think, well, I can get God of War, The Last of Us, Spider-Man, and all these Xbox exclusives as well. I'm just going to go. So would beg the question, I think I use that phrase, but which people are now going from a rumor to another rumor, is that Microsoft are going to come out of the console market and just concentrate on making games. So
yeah, well, I think they have confirmed that, or they have said that we're not leaving the hardware market. Now, is this going to make? Yeah, I think it's going to make people go, oh, well, what's the point? Because I could just get it. And yeah, that is right. So they are going to have to make any future hardware either on a different form, or they're going to have to make it sort of work differently. Yeah, whether it's cloud gaming and they allow things like GeForce Now, although you can probably get GeForce Now on the Windows Store on Xbox Now, I can imagine. But yes, I mean, right now, if you said Indiana Jones is coming out at the same time on Xbox and PlayStation, Elder Scrolls 6 is going to come out on Xbox and PlayStation at the same time, then if Sony keep their first party things, what's the point in getting an Xbox? You might as well have the best of both of every world rather than.
I do think that Microsoft are, well, not Microsoft, but Xbox are more invested in Game Pass than they are on their consoles. I think that's what they want to be.
Yeah.
I mean, would Game Pass make it over to PlayStation? I mean,
hardware doesn't make Sony or Xbox much money. It's it's the 10%, the 15%, the 30% they make on every sale. And Game Pass is just another extension of that. So if Xbox, I mean, a big coup for them obviously would be getting Game Pass on PlayStation and Nintendo. If they could get that,
And they wouldn't need that. I think if they could do that,
Yeah.
they probably would think, do we need to make consoles anymore? Because if they did do that, because if they got rid of their consoles now, they would lose a lot of their Game Pass market, because there'll be a lot of people who only have Game Pass on their consoles. I mean, I have Game Pass. I don't have one of their consoles because it is available in a lot of other. So I just got a smart TV, which allows me to play it on the cloud. You can get it on PCs.
I can play it on Steam Deck.
You can play it on the Steam Deck as well. So
you can play it on your phone. That's
maybe their vision is one day they just want to be like the Netflix of gaming, and just instead of consoles, people just in their millions are subscribing and paying, I don't know, £15 a month for their gaming. And
it does seem like, I would agree that it does look like they don't. I don't think they're going to have a traditional. I don't think their next bit of hardware is not going to be a traditional stick it to your TV console. Obviously, they did have a stick in development at one point, but they said they'd cancelled that because they just couldn't get it to. They couldn't get it small and affordable. So whether or not they've just gone into something else, whether they've gone to VR, whether they've gone into a full handheld, whether they've seen the success of Steam Deck and the ROG Ally and Legion Go, and they've said, right, we're going to make a handheld, but we're going to make a full like a powerful handheld. And then, I mean, the Switch as well, obviously. How can I forget the Switch? And something that can plug into the TV and be super powerful would just and still be affordable. I think that's the Steam Deck's power, is that you can pick one up for about £300, and that's amazing that you can get something that can play God of War on PC at a decent graphics. And Yakuza Like a Dragon, not Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. I'm playing on that. It looks absolutely fantastic on a handheld, and it runs really smoothly. So I think Xbox are going to change their hardware approach, but I think it will be different. It will be something different.
Though, I mean, see, I own a PlayStation at the moment, and I usually do own PlayStations, but over the time I have owned every single Xbox as well. So I had the original Xbox 360, Xbox One, and the Series S and the Series X. So I've literally owned every one. I personally would want them to see them leave the console. I think they do offer something different to Sony and Nintendo. I wouldn't want it where it's just you either, if you want a console, it's either Nintendo or Sony. See, I know like you've got PCs and Steam Deck, but in terms of your traditional consoles, but they may look at it and think, out of all their consoles, only the 360 was the one that
was a mega success.
That wasn't it, because the others were always behind. They've always been behind Sony. Apart from, I don't know about the 360 if that was behind Sony, and they usually are behind Nintendo as well. I know obviously there's been times where they've been more popular in Nintendo, but unlike Sega, they have the money where they can just keep bringing out consoles. Whereas Sega were at the point where it was bring out another console potentially.
They
decided to obviously concentrate.
There is another option, is that they just keep bringing out consoles and they just make sure that you can get them on PlayStation in a year. So Indiana Jones comes out on Xbox in 2025, but it comes out on PlayStation in 2026, and and equally, if Starfield they go, we're bringing Starfield to PlayStation, and then we'll bring it out in 2025. And when everybody else has played it on PC and Xbox, that could sway some people to stick with Xbox hardware. But you do still have the people. I mean, like myself, I'm quite happy when Sony's like, we've got that for a year, or Epic is another one that pays for exclusivity for a year for some PC titles. I'm quite happy to wait, because generally it means they're cheaper when they come to Steam.
if the rumors are true, I just don't see what the benefit is, unless they are going to come out of the hardware market, which that's not going to be the case. But I just don't see what any benefit
it is confusing, yeah.
Unless they got something from PlayStation to say, well, we'll give you some of ours if you give us some, then there would be a reason why they're doing it. But I can't see Sony saying, oh, okay, well, we'll let you have God of War and Spider-Man and The Last of Us, and they're just, you know, I mean, or the way of getting Game Pass on those consoles.
I mean, Final Fantasy VII as well. I mean, the remake is a funny one because they paid for exclusivity, and I think so. Eventually, it could come to Xbox, but I don't know whether they paid for exclusivity for all 3 parts, or whether they paid for exclusivity for a certain time. So, is Xbox possibly going to get the remake like soon? Or I don't know, but anyway, so it's out on PC if I really wanted it, but yeah, it is a difficult one. I don't know what they're thinking. I think some of their smaller ones like Hi-Fi Rush, I can see them going, do you know what? It doesn't really sell that well. You know, it's sold okay. We sell it on PlayStation because it gets its money back. You know, because the cost.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah, there is. I mean, when we say they're going to, I'm assuming they're not going to be part of PlayStation Plus, are they? They'll be. I mean, if they are, then I really don't understand.
Well, I mean, you've got was it MLB The Show? You've had 2 versions of that so far, which is quite funny because it comes up with developed by, was it Take-Two? No, not Take-Two. 2K or something, I don't know, THQ or something like that. And then it says published by Sony Computer Entertainment.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's an exception, that is, because I think Sony doesn't have any control over that. But yeah, no, yeah. It's a very difficult thing to understand. Yeah, I'd agree. It's yeah. I don't know why, but I have no problem with it, and I'm not a PlayStation 5. I don't understand people who have a real are angry about it. Like you are sounding confused about it.
I'm more confused. I mean, obviously, I'm a PlayStation, so I would benefit from it.
Yeah,
but I am confused of what they're unless they are going to sell the games, and they think, well, you know, how many copies of Starfield could we sell if it's on PlayStation?
Exactly. There'll be a Game of the Year version that, let's face it, they've got no DLC for it.
Motivation, but then they are sort of helping out their rivals by doing so. So, I mean, I wouldn't have an issue if, as a PlayStation, I'm not one of these. I don't get why, if you're a PlayStation owner, you have to hate Xbox. If you're Xbox, you have to hate PlayStation. It's like, it doesn't really bother me. So PlayStation will all of a sudden saying, "Oh, we're gonna."
Yeah, let's face it. The only people
exclusives, I would be happy for Xbox owners, but I would be wondering why Sony are doing it.
Yeah, the Xbox owners that are angry are just. I can see in a way that some people go, "I've invested in your ecosystem, and now you're opening that ecosystem to other people. I could have invested in that ecosystem and had more games." So I can see a slight angle with it, but generally, I
guess
if you've got enough money to buy every single game, then you've probably got enough money to buy a PlayStation 5.
I guess
I haven't got enough money to buy a PlayStation 5 and an Xbox and a Switch and a powerful PC. So I'm older now. I can just go, oh, I haven't got that thing. Okay, that doesn't bother me. So
I imagine there'll probably be some stubborn PlayStation owners who won't play them because they're from Xbox. So there'll be people like, I'm not going to play Starfield because just because they're. I don't know. It's just some people are weird, aren't they? But
well, yeah. I mean, there was a meme I saw the other day, and it was being sarcastic about Spider-Man 2 because there was a can and they zoomed in on this can from Spider-Man 1 and the can was circular, like cylindrical. And then they showed Spider-Man 2, the same brand of can, and it was quite polygonal. It was like jaggedy when they zoomed in, and they go, well, that's it. It's completely unplayable. Now, the problem is that some people are like that. I mean, there was somebody on the dad's group that I'm on, and we're both on, and they were asking about Power World, and they said, "Oh, I haven't played it yet, but are they? It's in beta. Are they going to improve the graphics anymore?" And I'm like, "Those graphics are fine. Why wouldn't you play it?"
Yeah, gameplay is the most important thing for me on any game. Right?
As long as it's nice. Playable, if in terms of the graphics, if it's like glitching and whatnot, then but just play a game and enjoy it. Don't sit and people. Okay, I could understand. It's the 30 frames versus 60 frames thing. I could understand. Yes, it is difficult playing a game at 30 when you can also play it at 60. Like Cyberpunk, you can pick it where it's 4K 30 or I don't know what resolution it is on Series X, but you can have it on performance mode, so it's 60 frames per second or it's unlocked. I don't know, one of the two. And I have it on the performance mode because it's smoother, a lot smoother. But if they said to me, no, you can, I mean, Starfield is one. It's at 30 frames per second on Series X. Okay, that's fine by me. But then there are people who are like, nope, not playing that.
No, I know. Yeah, I see so many people, and like sometimes it's the way of PlayStation players or the owners or Xbox owners trying to get one of you. Oh, they can only have it on 30 frames per second or whatever. Doesn't play. But yeah, to be fair, I mean, if it's online gaming, then I think that does have an impact.
Yes. I can understand that 250 frames per second on Counter-Strike 2 might make a difference to your very good players.
Yeah,
but I know I suck at games.
Professional players, e-gamers or whatever, they have to have like the highest specs. So when I used to play Rocket, I never played Rocket League at a professional level. I didn't play at a very high level, I should say, but I used to always use it as an excuse. As like, if I was on PlayStation, I was like, oh, I bet they're a PC player. Be like, quickly message saying I'll beat you if I had
hacksaws,
and then they would leave, and I'll be like, oh, well, I didn't catch my message. Annoy it. Now I did used to play it initially. When I first had Rocket League, it was on the Switch, and that was really difficult on the Switch. And then I went on PC from laptop, so PC pretty much, gaming laptop, Switch. And then I was like, oh my God, I'm not actually terrible at Rocket League. I'm actually pretty good at it. And I got quite high up in the sort of rankings. Then I went back to like a console, but PlayStation or Xbox, I can't remember. One is good as I was on PC, but I wasn't as bad as I was on Switch. So I found like a happy sort of medium. But so it does show that, the higher specs it does. But if you're playing games just
Starfield, if you're playing Starfield, it's not an online game. It's not even co-op. It's 30 frames. Yes. Would it be better at 60 frames per second? Yes. But would it be lagging? Would it be, people say about Bethesda jank. Yeah. What if they're that janky, keep it at a lot 30 frames per second? Because one thing was I never got any, I never got any freezing or lag on playing it. It was just, it's 30 frames per second, but it's pretty looking game. So, yeah. So I'm definitely not a frames per second snob.
No, me neither. So look, the other story, and I think we're coming up to quite over an hour now. So, but we'll cover the other story, the layoffs Of,
There's it was announced today that Microsoft are laying off quite a few people from. Now it says Crash developer. Now they're obviously not Crash developer because that's Naughty Dog, but they are the ones who did they did the recent reboots and whatnot. So yeah, it's quite a number of people. It's like 80 something people have been let off. And it's very sad for those people. And apparently there are some people stating that this is against what Xbox said that they would do when they took over, because they're I suppose we should clarify they are an Activision Blizzard subsidiary. This I can't remember. Just trying to find what it's called. It's Toys
for Bob.
That's the one.
Right, last 10 minutes, but
So it's very sad for them. But in terms of Microsoft, I don't know what they promised. So let's hope it's not a thing to come, because I think they've already stated in total they're going to be laying off 1,900 people, not just from that one developer, over the entire Activision Blizzard. So I just hope that there's not some of the good ones are going to be let go. Because what you've got to remember is that it could be that one person that's done some of the best bits or come up with some of the best bits. I suppose for that though, you need the good directors, you need the good whatnot. So it's more sad for individual people who have now got to find a new job, and may not be able to find it in gaming.
And Toys for Bob, I mean, they did the last Crash Bandicoot.
It's the remakes, wasn't it?
They did the Crash Bandicoot 4.
Okay.
About time, I think it was, and that was really good. They did the Crash
and Spyro as well.
What's the last one? There was a Crash. It was like a party version, which I don't think was very.
They've got a beta thing coming out. Was that them as well? There's I did play a beta of it.
Crash Team Rumble. They did Crash Team Rumble.
Yes, that was the one.
That didn't do too well. I think like people initially liked it, but it had quite a short sort of shelf life in terms of once you played it for a little bit.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, I played the demo of it and it wasn't. Yeah, wasn't for me.
I think but Crash 4 about time I really enjoyed that game, even though it was really difficult. But it was. Hopefully,
even playing Crash 1, the original Crash 1, going back to it, I'm like, was this game that hard? It was. I mean, the remake was harder. I was like, right. But yeah, they were hard games. But then again, I'm going through all the Sonic games with my son at the moment, and I have to really get on at him to like, no, you've got to keep going, you've got to keep trying, because he's finding out just how hard some of these games are, and Sonic is really, really difficult. Once you've gone past the first couple of worlds, they're hard. They're hard games.
Also, just knowing where to go, I found there's some ones where you just I've just been going around and I can't work out.
I think it's Sonic 3 or Sonic and Knuckles. One of them, I was just going round and round and round on this one level. I'm like, what's happening? Because I was running out of time, and I realised it's like a maze, and if you go in the wrong way, you just go back to the beginning, and you just keep looping and looping and looping and looping. Oh god, it's so hard, so hard.
Yeah, I can't remember what level it was like. One level I can remember was like a industrial sort of background, and it felt like you just ended up coming back to the beginning every time, and
there was Sonic and Knuckles, I think it was.
You would run out of time, and there's some where the water starts rising, isn't it? And you have to do it like that.
Yeah, there's quite a few like that. Yeah, and my son was doing what's the first on Sonic 2, the Industrial Zone, the can't remember what it's called. Chemical Zone. He's drowned a few times in that. I have many a horrible memory of drowning, and it just has that. I mean, it just drown. Oh, that music gives you nightmares.
I know. Once you start hearing that music, you might as well just give up, wouldn't you?
Exactly.
I'm on edge as it is, and now you've just drove my anxiety through the roof. So,
well, I'll relax you a bit. One thing I was going to mention as well is that Disney have not invested in Epic. I think they've sort of they've basically gone, here you go, here's a load of money to build a world with our characters to Epic. So Epic, I don't think this is simply just because of Lego, but I think it probably has helped having the Lego thing and whatnot. But yeah, Disney have given $1.5 billion to Epic. They're not buying Epic or investing in Epic. This is basically a sort of, hey, yeah, have some money, and would you make us a world with Disney characters?
A new universe.
I think they're hoping that the fact that Fortnite seems to be this sprawling world, that they want to get in on there, get into it, and have one of the big first worlds that is Fortnite based. Which I can't see many teenage boys sitting in their bedrooms currently playing Fortnite, the Battle Royale, wanting to be in a persistent world with Elsa from Frozen or Moana. But all the kids that are growing up now,
Marvel and Star Wars, and they own all that.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, Star Wars. Yeah, and obviously you've got young kids who now will be growing up and be like, wow, so I can go on this game and I can, like you said, I can play Star Wars, I can play, racing games, I can play shooting games, I can chat to friends and all this kind of thing. So I think it's a watch this space with that, isn't it?
I mean, usually what Disney do, they're pretty. They don't get it wrong often, do they? They're pretty
Speedstorm. I've got Speedstorm on a couple of platforms. It's obviously free to play, but it runs really well on a Steam Deck and really well. I've got it on Series X. But yeah, my boy loves it, and it can have 4-player split screen, so we can all play together. It's basically Mario. Well, it's a basic Mario Kart, but it is a Mario Kart clone. So it's a bit hectic online. I did play a couple of races online, but yeah, it's all a bit sort of explosions and bright, and it didn't really know what was going on. I just got to the end and was still like, I don't know, 4th out of 6 or whatever it is. So yeah, it's good. Yeah, I think Disney are just hoping to get in on at the ground level with their Fortnite thing, and whether we'll get something in 2 weeks or 2 years, I don't know. But $1.5 billion, and that's a big budget for a game. So,
not a lot for Disney.
Not a lot for Disney, although I mean, I suppose if you think about it, though. Was it Star Wars only cost them about $5 billion? So
how much did Marvel cost them?
That was even cheaper. I think that was only something like $4 billion.
All like the biggest grossing films are all like Marvel, aren't they? They're all the I can't think.
Infinity War and Endgame. Yeah. So. Yeah, I'm sure that's Fortnite. I think Epic are trying to be the metaverse, the thing that Mark Zuckerberg wanted. I think Epic are. Hang on a minute, all the kids want to play Fortnite. and all the kids are grown up to be adults. So if they're playing Fortnite and we make it more of a persistent world, they'll still be playing Fortnite when they're 25, and then they'll have kids and etc. So yeah, I think it's just it's them trying to make Fortnite be the future of gaming. We'll see if that works.
Hopefully not. One game really get into.
Have you looked up on this day?
Briefly.
Right, you did briefly. Anything?
Mario Party. That was
I was going to say, I was just looking up something, and first thing that jumped out, Mario Party.
First ever one on the
25 years ago. Wow, So was that the first one, the Nintendo 64?
I think so. I don't think there was one before Nintendo 64. I might be completely wrong, but I'm pretty sure that the Nintendo 64 one was the first ever one. Hit and miss, I think. I think some people really like them, some people don't. I think for what they are, they're fun.
Yeah, I love all these mini game things.
Yeah, they are. If you've got a group, you would have to have friends, but get round. And I mean, I played it with a couple of my friends on the Switch, the newest one. It's quite fun, really. I mean, it's not something you would play over and over again, but I feel like
Wow, February the 6th, 33 years ago, in the arcade, one certain game called Street Fighter 2. 33 years ago. Wow, in 1991 in Japan, that came out. So yeah, I would have been 12 years old.
Tom probably was there on the launch in Japan.
But yeah, so that's an iconic game. And another one that we were talking about with Bill Harbison, episode 28, if anyone's listening that wants to listen to that. Bill Harbison, who converted some arcade games or did the art for them and whatnot. But yeah, getting Street Fighter 2 onto a home console was just outstanding. I mean, the when it came on the Super Nintendo, it was like, wow. And then they said, oh yeah, it'll never go onto a Mega Drive because the Mega Drive was slightly less powered, or it had different abilities. And then they not only did they put it onto the Mega Drive, but they put it onto the Mega Drive and they put the Hyper Edition, which you could speed up and whatnot. And so just absolutely amazing. But yeah, 33 years ago. Oh.
What a time to be alive. 33 years.
And Hogwarts Legacy is one year old. There you go. Right, I think we have been going for an hour now. So NASA. Right. Well, lovely to have you back, Martin.
Enjoyed being back. Hopefully the three of us will be here next week.
Hopefully, yeah. All the lurgy and the snot and everything has gone.
Oh, wow. To be fair, it doesn't affect us, does it? I mean, we're next to him.
Hopefully,
don't you? So maybe.
I was all snotty in December, so hopefully not anymore. I'm a little bit. I've got the same thing that a lot of people have, but not that bad. So fingers crossed, it won't be me next week. But people should like and subscribe, shouldn't they? Like and subscribe and all that stuff. But other than that, that's about it. Right. Thank you for listening. Bye.